reduced words and syllables take on the schwa sound, but I think it can in fact be reduced to the flap T or D sound with the schwa, even though it begins the word. For example, if I'm speaking really fast, I might say quarter to three. Quarter to three. The word to is actually getting a voiced sound under it. So it would then be the D sound. That is in very quick speech, and it's the only exception to the T at the beginning of the word being the T, real T sound that I can think of, but I wanted to mention it. Rule 2. When to use the flap or tap T, in other words, D sound. This happens when the T, either written with one or two T's, comes between two vowel or diphthong sounds. For example, mutter, mutter, the flap tap T or D sound. This doesn't have to just be a T sound within a word. It can be a T at the end of a word when the next word is linked and begins with a vowel. For example, what about me? What about me? The T in that sentence comes between two vowel sounds, so it is also pronounced this way. One exception. The schwa is a vowel sound, but when the T is followed by the schwa and the N sound, the T is not pronounced as a flap, even if there is a vowel before. Rather, it is pronounced as a stop. For example, the word tighten. Here the T is between the I as in by diphthong and the schwa-N combination. It's between two vowel sounds, but it is not pronounced as a flap. It is the stop. Tight, If you can see, the tongue does not change position between the T and the N sound. Tighten, tight, stop, That's why you don't bother with flapping the T there. Tighten, tighten. Before we keep going, let's compare the words auto and atone. In both cases, the T is surrounded by vowel sounds. But do you hear a difference? Auto, atone. In the first word, it is pronounced as a D, and in the second word as a T. Why is that? Auto, atone. The reason is, think back to Rule 1, because the T in atone is beginning the stressed syllable. So Rule 1 is more powerful than Rule 2. Even though in atone it comes between two vowel sounds, the first rule overrides it. Because it is beginning the stressed syllable, it is pronounced T as a real T. Auto, atone. Rule 3. When to pronounce it as a stop. We've already gone over two cases in our exceptions to previous rules. The exception to Rule 1 was the ending consonant cluster NT, where it is pronounced as a stop, as in environment, scent. The exception to Rule 2, when it is followed by the schwa and the N sound, as in tighten. There it is also pronounced as a stop. It also happens anytime a word or a syllable ends in a T, except for those Rule 1 ending consonant clusters, and except for the Rule 2, when the next word it is being linked to begins with a vowel. Examples: about, fitness. There are some words that are just written with a silent T. For example, Christmas, whistle, mortgage. These unfortunately just need to be learned. There is one case I've noticed where sometimes native speakers will altogether leave out a T sound that does actually exist in IPA. This would be when the T begins an unstressed syllable and the syllable before ended with an N. I have noticed this. For example, interview. Interview. There's no stop, there's no T, there's no D. Also, wanted. I wanted to know. Wanted. Again, no stop, no T, and no D. These could possibly be considered lazy pronunciations, but I guarantee you will hear them. Okay, that was a lot of information that I just gave you. The best way to figure out if you've gotten it all is to simply go over words and figure out how the T would be pronounced and why. So we're going to go through another video that does just that. Look for it. That's it, and thanks so much for using Rachel's English.